Hey everybody, you're listening to Second Round Steals as we go through our 2015-2016 NBA team previews. Be sure to check out the rest of our previews, and don't forget to stay tuned with us for regular updates throughout the season. Hey everybody, how are you doing? We're back with our NBA previews for 2015-2016. This time we're talking about the Memphis Grizzlies.
So last year they went 55-27. They made it to the Western Conference semifinals, but they eventually lost to the Golden State Warriors 4-2 in a series that wasn't too competitive.
Right. I mean, after Steve Kerr figured out how to neutralize Tony Allen, that series became a lot more one-sided. So, over the offseason, the Grizzlies picked up Matt Barnes, Ryan Hollins, and Brandon Wright. Well, they lost such notable players as Nick Kalathis and John Lure, as well as Costa Koufos.
So they're just decreasing the white guy quota on the team.
Yeah, and increasing
basically what their offseason looked like.
Yeah. They gotta make sure. Marc Gasol shall be the only one.
Yeah.
So, this lineup, after all the losses, you would think it'd be devastated because they lost so many notable names. But they still have starting point guard Mike Conley, starting shooting guard Courtney Lee, starting small forward. This one kind of surprised me, actually, all jokes aside. Dave Joerger is going to throw out Tony Allen as the starting small forward.
6'4" Tony Allen and 6'5"-ish Courtney Lee.
Yeah.
Those are your wing guys?
Yeah, I understand Allen can't really play shooting guard when this league is starting to become a lot more offense-oriented in the shooting guard spot. You need a spacer of some kind. So, you kind of don't want Allen to be playing big minutes at a two-guard spot when you need that three-point shooting that he can't provide. But I don't know how I feel about
I'd
him.
have Barnes starting at three, to be honest.
What about Jeff Green?
He played pretty well coming off the bench for them last season.
Yeah, I guess Jeff Green's at that point where we've seen he's just kind of a spark plug. He's not really a star. He's just kind of...
Yeah, he won't really get that many touches either when Gasol and
Randolph.
Zebo.
Yeah, which brings me back. Obviously, their front court is still Zebo and Marc Gasol. So yeah, not many changes made over the offseason. Charles, what do you see as a stat for this team that'll define them?
So I went into deep analytics here. So I had 12.8, which is the combined net rating, which is the offensive rating and the defensive rating, the sum of that. And that's the combined net rating of Mike Conley, Marc Gasol, Zach Randolph, and Tony Allen. That four-man lineup was one of the best lineups in the league, and not featuring LeBron and Steph Curry. These four guys have been really important, and they've been the core to this Memphis Grizzlies ground and pound team. And it'll be interesting to see another year of them, because basically they really didn't add that many pieces this offseason. They kind of broke even getting Brandon Wright for Costa Koufos. And we need to see some more Jeff Green, Courtney Lee, and Brandon Wright, and maybe see some good shooting from Vince Carter this year, because last year he wasn't too effective.
Yeah, registered PER of about 9.
Yeah.
My stat was kind of similar. My stat was based off their rebounds, which were surprisingly low for this team. Total rebounds per game were 50.7, which put them at 21st in the league.
It's pretty surprising.
Yeah, you would think between Randolph and Gasol you could get some solid boards. They did limit opponents' rebounds per game to only 50, which put them in the 6th best spot, but they couldn't grab the boards for whatever reason. So
it
hopefully,
could just be because they play really slow.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that maybe addition of Brandon Wright kind of evens that out. Other stat that neither of us mentioned that's always a defining characteristic of this team is pace. I mean, it hasn't changed within the past 5 years. They've always...
I think that's kind of what killed them against the Warriors last season in the playoffs. The league's getting a lot faster, and even in their bench, Jeff Green's the only stretch guy they have there.
Exactly, but it's weird, they're so slow, and they slow the game down trying to get to their pace. So that obviously leads them to scoring so few points. They've ranked 21st in that. But They can't stop the fast break, it seems. They were one of the worst in the leagues. They were ranked 20th in preventing opponent fast break points per game. Because they just can't get back on D in time. Which is definitely what sunk them in that Golden State matchup. So, big picture, what do you see for this squad?
I think it's going to be more of the same for them this year. We might see a little bit of regression from the Grizzlies this year because, to be honest, like, a lot of the teams in the West got better. The Clippers got better. The Spurs got better. The Rockets got better. But the Grizzlies, they basically didn't do much this offseason. So they're just hoping for a healthy Conley, a healthy Zebo, a healthy Marc Gasol, and maybe potentially that'll get them to the Western Conference semifinals. But I really don't see them having a chance against the Warriors, the Rockets, Clippers, the Spurs as well. I like having Mike Conley there to be healthy. I think he's a really good player. Marc Gasol is definitely one of the best offensive centers in the league. Zach Randolph will keep doing Zach Randolph things, but the only thing is they're a little bit older. I really like the addition of Brandon Wright. I think he's an update over Kosta Koufos. He's a lot more up-tempo, he's more athletic, and he's going to be a different type of player than Randolph and Gasol. He relies on the pick and roll, and he's basically an energy player. I think he'll do well in this role. And I'm really hoping, like I was saying before, for Vince Carter to bounce back. Just 2 years ago in Dallas, he was one of their key players making big shots. But even though he's a little bit older, he can still make those shots. And hopefully we see some more out of him this season.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we all remember the shot against the Spurs Game 1, Dallas-San Antonio series. That was amazing. It was also his first shot, like his first game winner in the playoffs. That was really cool to see, though. Yeah, so hopefully he bounces back. I have the same thing. Honestly, they're going to be the same as they've always been. Really, nobody could see them being any different. They needed more three-point shooting, and they kind of made sure not to get any three-point shooting. I don't know why it is that they're insisting against following the curve of the NBA, but they're fighting against it. They're being very successful, considering they have not bent to like what is the modern NBA. But I can't see them doing any better than they've been doing the past 6 years. Unless, of course, Green Conley or Courtney Lee improbably breaks out. I don't know if you remember this, Charles, but at the start of last year, everyone was talking about how Courtney Lee was becoming the
hottie,
a great player because he had a string of great games. He was averaging 14, 15 points a game. He had that game winner, and people were saying that this is the year he's breaking out, and then he just kind of fell off again. Well, not really even falling off. He regressed back to what is the mean for him.
I mean, I really don't think you should be relying on Courtney Lee to be your key guy.
Exactly.
I mean, adding Matt Barnes to this team was a good addition. They basically got him for nothing, but I don't think he moves the needle that much.
I don't think he was even that good. He's regressed so much if you watched him with the Clippers. The Clippers, their 3-spot was horrible because Matt Barnes is an overrated defender. He has the grit and grind aspect, but he can't actually back it up with good play. He's only tough in the sense of he tries to start fist fights. He doesn't actually defend that well. He's just kind of dirty.
I guess. I mean, he might add some more attitude, and he could be a little bit better than Mike Conley offensively, but like you were saying, he's not a great player at this stage in his career.
Yeah. No, he's definitely not. And, I mean, the whole Green thing, we saw it with the Celtics back in 2012, 2013, when he kind of became that six-man, that really good spark plug. People thought he could start for them, then kind of didn't work out as a featured option, and it didn't work out again in Memphis. So he's kind of been relegated back to that bench role, and I think that's where he needs to stay. Honestly, I think that's where he's going to do his most damage when he's playing against the less athletic second unit.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely a limited player, but I'm sure he knows his role now and he knows his limitations, and I think he fits in well with this team, especially with a change of pace and Brandon Wright can give off the bench.
Yes, for sure. So what do you have as an excitement scale for this?
Even though they're really slow and they're kind of boring at times, I gave them a 6.5. I'm a big fan of Marc Gasol. watching him at the beginning of last season, he was playing really well. Like, he almost got some MVP consideration because he was playing so well. There's a lot of players I like on this team. Vince Carter's one of my favorite players ever. Brandon Wright is really exciting. He's just ridiculously long, and his dunks are really exciting to see. Like, if you saw him last season before he got traded to the Celtics when he was still on the Mavericks, he was one of their key guys off the bench. I think he could give that same role for them. Mike Conley's also a really good player. I'm hoping he isn't too banged up this year. Last year he had some really, really bad injuries. Like, he fractured his orbital bone. Like, it looked like he got his face punched in. He struggled with plantar fasciitis last season also during the playoffs. So I'm hoping for a bounce back season for him in the playoffs and for him to be healthy. And for Zach Randolph too, to continue being Zebo. I don't really think his game's going to age anymore because he never really relied on athleticism, and I think his game will stay consistent for them.
Yeah, I have them as an excitement as a 4.0. Honestly, the players are still fun, like you said. Mike Conley is very underrated. I mean, there was a point at one time where people were saying, oh, he's so underrated that now he's overrated and that whole spiel, but
he's just a good player.
Considering he's never gotten an all-star consideration and he puts up great numbers on a consistent 50-win team, I don't think he's overrated by any stretch.
I mean, that just shows how deep the point guard position in the league is.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I find him to be a lot of fun. Randolph, I like the bruiser mentality. I don't know if his game will age as well as you're thinking, just because I feel he's getting to the point now where he's going to start feeling the wears and tears of his weight and just age, especially because so much of his thing is relying on strength, which isn't so much athleticism, but it is kind of hard to do when you're banging against all of these younger, more physical players. But he's always fun to watch. He puts up great numbers. Marc Gasol is probably the most versatile player in the league. Just the combination, honestly, of shooting range with passing skills, ball handling ability, defense, offense. We really saw him take his offensive game up to a different level last year. He's just all around. There's not one category of the game where he's not good. I don't think he really contributes to this team in every single statistical category.
Yeah, he's their most important player. Even though a lot of the league is getting faster, I think Marc Gasol, he's gonna be their most important performer. And whether or not the other guys do well, it's dependent on them. But I think Marc Gasol will also be a key player and maybe one of the top 10 players in the conference this season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, whether or not people rank him like that or not, he's always kind of been pushed against in power ranking when you're talking about players or all these other things. He just recently, this past season, obviously, he got the All-NBA nod. But until then, he really, he had the defensive player 2 years ago, but he should have been a consistent All-NBA player for a while. And especially considering how many people passed on him. He was the second to last pick or something. He was second round, 48.
Yeah, he was pretty fat back when he was drafted. To see his improvement over time has been pretty amazing.
Yeah. You're talking on, they passed, how many teams had to have passed on him by that draft pick? And look at what they passed on. Obviously, we could say that about so many great players. Ginobili was also in there. Boozer was a late pick. There's been tons. But Marc Gasol, I think, is really the golden boy for that. He's a beautiful player. He makes the game look amazing. Even though he's kind of clunky in his movements, he's very big in his frame. I don't know. Something about the way he plays is just really exciting. However, the fact that they just kind of have done it all. I've seen what the Grizzlies are. I know what they're capable of. I know what they're going to do. It's been played out 4 years now. We've seen exactly what they're going to do each and every year, and they do it. And that's as far as they go. So I can't get as excited for it as I would like to. Because I feel...
Continuing with that, What do you think the record will be this year? Or how far do you think they're going to go?
Uh, I think their record's going to be another 50-win season. I think 52 wins is a good approximation for them. 50 to 52, just because the West got better, like you were saying before. So it's going to be tough to keep up with all these fast-paced teams now, but I think they'll still find a way to edge out those 50 wins. I think they go semis. I think they go semis again. Unless they really, for some reason, decline, they're a real tough out in the first round of the playoffs. Like, no matter what seed they're at. So, I think semis is their ceiling.
Yeah, I definitely think they're not a contender, but they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs unless they play against Golden State and Golden State just goes crazy on them again.
Yeah. Or they go crazy on Golden State and, like, actually take grit and grind and beat them up.
Yeah. Just break Steve Kerr's spirit, kidnaps Riley Curry, legitimate ground and pound.
They actually break Steve Kerr's back. Oh, well, speaking of beating people up, why don't we run over to our social media stalker?
All right. So, a lot of people have been talking about this on social media. The acquisition of Matt Barnes has been pretty interesting both on and off the court. Off the court more so than on the court because Matt Barnes was supposedly, he said, "Oh, I dated Rihanna," but Rihanna shot back is like, "I don't even know that dude." But there was also something else that happened this offseason with Matt Barnes and his lady drama. You want to talk about that, Ben?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm sure everyone's heard about Derek Fisher apparently courting...
New York Knicks head coach.
Yeah, apparently trying to court Matt Barnes' ex-wife.
Yeah.
I mean...
Kind of threatened to come over and beat Coach Derek Fisher up for, I guess, not even stealing his girl, but getting with his
threatened.
Former. Yeah.
He didn't threaten. He drove. He drove 95 miles. He got in his car and drove there. I'm pretty sure, and I mean, this is all rumored now, but some people are saying he actually even hit Derek Fisher. But obviously we didn't see any marks on Derek Fisher, so I don't know the legitimacy of that, but...
Yeah, all I see is a New York Post article saying, Matt Barnes, why kick Derek Fisher's ass? I mean, if there was a girl that I was dating and I wasn't dating her anymore, I don't think I'd get to the point where I'd beat the crap out of the guy who she's dating currently, even if he's in the same league as me.
Well, apparently some of it was that the fact that they were teammates, apparently they might have been closer than people have thought. They were teammates back on the Lakers in 2011. So, I don't know. I didn't think that they were friends. They don't seem like two people that would be close friends.
Yeah, they don't really seem too similar at all.
Yeah. I also didn't even think Matt Barnes would have had any friends on that Lakers team, considering Kobe hated him. But I don't... apparently they had some relation that he got so upset. Or maybe it's just Matt Barnes being Matt Barnes. He's got the whole bravado he's got to keep up.
Yeah,
but
the tough guy.
Let's look at the fact that his ex-wife was beautiful. Matt Barnes is some odd-looking fellow.
I mean, he's a tough guy on and off the court. And I guess maybe Derek Fisher seems a lot more stable than Matt Barnes. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. That was odd. But I'm sure Memphis actually appreciated that. All jokes aside, Memphis was probably applauding him when he got back from driving out there. That's all Memphis' attitude. I'm sure Zebo would give him a fist bump or something.
Taking it back to the Jailblazers days for Zebo.
Yeah. Tony Allen was probably all about that. I feel like the Grizzlies were probably behind him on that.
I think you just gotta respect everyone in that situation. Like, leave it alone, bro. He's kind of getting a little creepy there.
Yeah, the driving 95 miles seems ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, anything else with this team?
I mean, Vince Carter can still jump, and he's probably my favorite player on the Grizzlies, even though he'll be playing like 15 minutes a game. But aside from that, here's looking forward to another, I guess, semifinal season.
Here's looking for Russ Smith to make an emergence.
Yeah. Queen's own?
Queens' own. Russ Smith had actually, but right before we get off, Russ Smith apparently had like the fourth highest PER on this team. He only played in 6 games, but come on, guys, give him a little bit of run. Let Queens represent.
For sure.
Alright, that's it then, guys. We got nothing more. Thanks for listening.
Hey, thanks for listening to Second Round Steals, our NBA podcast. Please be sure to check out the rest of our 2015-2016 NBA team previews, and stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of different podcasts, probably weekly, and we'll be there every step of the way covering all the drama, great games, great plays, and highlights of the NBA season. So please be sure to check us out on iTunes, on SoundCloud, and on YouTube for your podcast needs. And stay tuned for more content outside of podcasts, like videos and articles, and even probably live discussions. Thanks for listening.